Thank you for taking the question, Mayor. Wanted to ask you about the working group that you've set up yesterday with the executive order. Are you surprised? I know. So the city of Chicago, as you've talked about, has had long-term budget issues, deficits annually, debt, pension-related issues. So why is it that you wanted to set up this working group now and not at the beginning of your administration 2 years ago?
Well, look, here's what's important here, is that you have an administration that is committed to working with everyone, right? And that's what we've done. We closed the deficit in my first budget, working with people. We closed the deficit in my second budget, working with people. We're taking a more strident approach because, the circumstances have changed dramatically, right? The Trump takeover is real. And, he threatens the very fabric of our democracy. And what you have probably noticed is that this is not just isolated in the city of Chicago. Having conversations with people like Mayor Bass, we know what's happening in the state of Maryland, we know what's happening in the state of Illinois. Budgets across this country are grossly underfunded and dealing with the same challenges. Here's an opportunity for the city of Chicago to lead the way to further demonstrate our commitment to a collaborative approach. Now, look, we take full responsibility for what we've inherited. We know that a couple of administrations ago raised property taxes by almost $500 million every single year, left our credit rating in junk status, right? It was an incredibly anti-business approach towards governance. We're taking on a different task here. And that task is to ensure that the future of our budget is secure. This is not just about one or two budgets. In terms of just the timing, I'll turn it over to our budget director. She can expound more on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mayor encapsulated this pretty well, right? We are facing threats at every single level of government that are unique to this time period, right? I think that what's happening at the federal level has only heightened, our resolve to ensure that the city is in a position to withstand those types of attacks in the future. But we're also seeing that the state is having, pressures as well. And so we've got to put our city in the best position possible to, address and deal with issues on its own while working with partners at the federal and state level where we can. And we think that the best way to do that is to bring a bunch of voices to the table because, as you know, people are always commenting on our budget. People have always commented on what they think we should do without actually engaging in the conversation with the city itself. And so this is the chance for everyone to get at the table together and have those discussions.
And are you open to options such as layoffs at this point? I know that's been something that you have not supported in the past.
Well, who supports layoffs? I don't know anybody who supports layoffs.
Service cuts.
Or service
layoffs.
cuts, right. As I said earlier, our ability to continue and to sustain staffing and services at the level in which we've done is threatened by the federal government. Like these, and I shouldn't even refer to them as threats anymore. I mean, these are real attacks. And listen, despite how incorrigible this president is, it's not going to dilute our work. What we are offering here is a pathway forward. And the voices that have been historically neglected and have not been permitted to participate in our budget process, we're giving voice to those individuals. And listen, this is the culmination and it's culmination and it's the manifestation, quite frankly, of our community meetings that we've had. We literally went all over the city of Chicago for residents to voice their hopes and aspirations into our budget. We're growing as a result of what it means to be an administration that is committed to co-governance, and I'm very proud of the direction that our budget director has helped move us in. And as I said before, this is a problem that is literally all over the country. We're taking an approach that might be more unique just because of the historic entanglements as well as the lack of willingness to cooperate with a variety of voices, and we're doing that. I'm proud of it.
But we got to keep moving, Shruti.
Compared to your peers?
I don't know if we're in a unique position. Thank you for getting that extra one in there. All I'm saying is that this is not just Chicago, right? My good friend in Los Angeles, Mayor Bass, is doing an exceptional job, and we're not having a conversation about how we respond in this moment, you can't start off with cuts. That's just not how you start the conversation. You start the conversation with, how do we, first of all, find ways to be more productive? How do we make sure that, we're able to strengthen and streamline our services in a way that saves dollars, right? What are the revenue options that people have that we should be exploring? Again, nobody wants to cut services, especially because, a great concentration of our budget is in public safety, right? And so we're going to do everything that we can to continue to bring people together to have budgets that match the values of working people.
And I would just add, I would challenge you, Shruti. I know that you cover not just the city of Chicago, but I would challenge you to go look really deeply at what other cities are facing right now. It's almost eerie to the degree of how the challenges of the city of Chicago mirror exactly the city of LA, the city of New York, like eerie. And so I think that what you'll find is cities are at the front lines of dealing with the hopes and aspirations that people who are residents and business owners of those communities are dealing with. And so when it comes to that, those municipalities need all the tools possible to meet those needs and to provide working people, business owners, and those that come in and enjoy that city, the services that they desire, the services that they expect, and the services that, frankly, they deserve. And so he's right. I've had conversations with the city of LA and other cities throughout the country. We're not in a unique position.